Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, Lee Cole here. Hope y'all are doing great. Let's do a quick sound and visual check. Don't pay attention to the dog barking. If you've been on some webinars with me over the past month, we have adopted a new rescue dog. It's something that I do every now and then. And he barks. What can I say? So one person says no visual. So really, author, yeah. Well, I'm not going to read that out because if I do, then he's not even a year old. He's just a puppy, right? So he cannot maintain. Let's just put it that way. Somebody says they can't see a visual. So would you please let me know if you can? You can't. Okay. How about now? You're looking inside the Larry. Awesome, buddy. So you're looking inside the dashboard of the website with Tube Postr on it. So this is Tube Postr Quick Start, and it is being recorded. Give us about a day. We'll have it up in the Tube Postr members area. You can look at it. If you have any questions about anything, let's go ahead and do this. Make sure everybody's got this. Get the support link, pop that in here for you. Just hit us up in support. We're here to help. Yeah, everybody should have gotten that. So if you got, confusion, I mean, I got people who bought this who are at all levels, right? I mean, people who did not even know what a plugin is, other people who were really very advanced and wanted to know a little bit more about, had some really good ideas about upgrades to it, et cetera, et cetera. So again, reach out to us in support, and we will be more than happy to help you out as best we can. The goal of this webinar is really twofold. Number one, I just want to basically go over Tube Postr and just make sure you understand it, understand the rationale behind it, understand what it's supposed to do. I'm not going to go into the details of actually uploading it and all that stuff, because right here, and these videos are actually in the members area also. I mean, it would be kind of crazy just to have them right here, because if you haven't uploaded the plugin, you're not going to see them right here, right? But these videos, the how to install, how to use, and the getting your YouTube API key right here, how to do all that. Pretty clear videos, I think. Just look at that, but if you get hung up, let us know. You bought it. I want you to be able to use it, because honestly, I think it's a very, very cool plugin. So with that said, let's get rolling on this. So number one, why in the world did we develop this plugin? And I'll show you why. Because here we are inside my YouTube account. And you can see I got all these videos, right? I mean, I make a lot of videos. I'm a huge believer in video marketing. And I literally got tired of copying and pasting. I mean, it was such a pain in the neck. I mean, I'm just going to show you like zillions of videos here. And you can imagine, I mean, I upload, sometimes 5 or 6 videos a week, generally on average, 2 or 3. And I mean, it's enough to, let's just look at this. I mean, it's enough to get the thumbnail, right. It's enough to get the description the way you want it to, stuff like that. You get the tags, all that stuff. I mean, that's enough to do, right? I mean, having to do that twice on 2 different platforms, your blog and YouTube, that is the perfect place for automation. Okay, so that's really why we developed it. And once we developed it, it just worked so well. I thought, God, this is a great piece of software. Other people can use this, and so that's why we made it available for you guys to buy. No, I don't think I'm doing that. So bam, let's just hang on. Okay, I'm trying to get back to where the videos are. So a couple of things. Well, actually, several things. When you install Tube Postr, okay, and again, the videos on how to do this are in the members area, but when you install it, when you log into the dashboard of your website, as I am logged into the dashboard of this website, easyprofitsoftwareblog.com, you're going to see Tube Postr down here. Okay, so if you just click on this, you will see the page where I'm at right now. And then you can check out settings, connected channels, bulk import, and YouTube tracker. I want to go over these and just sort of talk about basically what's going on here. Okay, so the settings really is to control how big the video is, right? Okay, rather the resolution to display the videos in, and the resolution to display the thumbnail in. That's basically what's going on here. Why would you want to do that? GoToWebinar is saying that my audio quality may be degrading. If you're having a little trouble hearing me, I'll just keep talking, and generally this works its way out. With thank you, Larry. Thank you so much. So why would you want to have this here? Well, different people have different levels of hosting. Let's just put it that way. For our business, I've got gold-plated, expensive as hell hosting with a massive amount of bandwidth. Okay, not everybody needs that. You may have fairly inexpensive hosting. I mean, if you have really crappy hosting, then this plugin's going to have a little trouble working, frankly, because it's pulling a lot of, especially with the bulk import, it's pulling a lot of information in, right? But if you have at least, we test this out on a lot of different hostings. One of the hosting accounts that we have for testing purposes, just to give you an idea, is a HostGator baby account. I think that's like, I don't know, $8 a month, $12 a month, something like that. And I can't remember if I paid for that monthly or yearly, but it's something around there. It's okay. You're not getting a ton of bandwidth, but it's competently run. Okay. This works fine on that. Some people have hosting with bandwidth issues. This would be where where your hosting company is limiting the amount of information that can go from, say, YouTube to their server where your files are. YouTube to their server, they're sort of limiting that, which is fine. That's part of what you pay for. I was drinking a Coke. That's why the momentary pause there. But if you are having some trouble with bulk import, with like it imports just a few but then quits or something like that, the first thing I would do is go to the settings section, and instead of having it on high and all this stuff, I would just sort of ratchet it down. Okay, so I would go for the low resolution and the lower resolution for the video display. Is it really going to affect how it looks? Slightly, but really not a ton. I don't think most people can really tell the difference. So that's what the setting tab is about. You can bulk import, or you can import from a channel as someone is adding new videos to that channel. And by the way, that channel does not have to be your channel. That can be any channel. I'll show you how that works in a second. Let me give you an example. So this is a new website that we're working on, and it's nowhere near done. So that's why there's nothing really here on the homepage. But we've got Tube Postr hooked up to this so that on this videos for this category page, on this videos thing, you can see that Tube Postr has imported these videos. Okay. Now look, I've been doing a lot of review videos lately of some really cool offline products. Binged In, which is something that's a fantastic product, by the way, which is something that Mike Paul launched recently. This is another great product, and a fellow named Niranjan launched this recently. Now, so you look at these two videos. Now let's go over to the video section of my YouTube account, and I'll show you something. There's the Binged In video. So that was uploaded yesterday, I believe. And here's the How to Sell Realty Vids to the Real Estate Marketplace video. So Tube Postr pulled both of those in. Now the question, why didn't Tube Postr pull in these right here? Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, Module 4, Module 5. Let me show you. These are unlisted. I mean, you can look at them if you got the URL. You just click on the URL and go see them. But they're not available for search. See, this is public. In other words, this is available for search. Tube Postr is just going to pull in the videos that are public. It's not going to pull in unlisted videos. Why would it do that? Because a lot of times the unlisted videos they have less information. People like me are just putting them there as a convenient way of storing them, or rather as a convenient way of allowing a few people to look at them for a period of time. And generally, you know, I noticed that a lot of unlisted videos, at least the way we do it, you know, we don't worry about thumbnails. We don't worry about descriptions because, I mean, if you can't search for it, why do I need a description with keywords in it, right? So there's that. In other words, that's why you're seeing the difference between Binged In and How to Sell Realty Vids and Binged In and How to Sell Realty Vids here, and it's not pulling in those. So that's an important feature. Let's go to bulk import and YouTube tracker, and then we'll pop up here to connected channels and finish off this part there. So bulk import. Let's say that you just installed Tube Postr. You're like me. I mean, you can see I had over 1,000 videos on that channel. You've got a lot of videos on a channel, or you can find a channel with a lot of videos on it, or you can actually import into the same blog multiple channels, all right? And let's say, I mean, people are already using Tube Postr for a lot of different really cool stuff. I'll just name you a couple of ways of using it where the bulk import would be really essential when you first set up a website. There are people using Tube Postr on PBNs, private blog networks, or people. I've had emails from several domainers who are using Tube Postr. Hang on, Larry. I'll read that in just 1 second. That looks like a great question. I've gotten several emails from domainers using Tube Postr. I have bought and sold a fair number of domains. It is not a main source of income for me. It's more of a little side deal. As a matter of fact, I don't think I did hardly any of that last year. I might have bought some, but I didn't try to sell them. I don't know. You know, I'm one of those people that just drives around and thinks of a great domain name and then go to the GoDaddy app on my phone and buy it. Maybe it's a problem. Who knows? But I have sold a number of domains over the years to businesses. So I generally sell those to businesses. I mean, you can sell a raw domain. And as a matter of fact, my son, who is actually the programmer who created Tube Postr, it was his idea, by the way. But he actually got his start in internet marketing, buying and selling domain names. And he was just buying raw domain names, you know, just and selling them to businesses. Buying them for around, I don't know, whatever they cost on GoDaddy, $11 a piece, and he'd sell them for like, you know, 200, 300, 400 a piece. And did very well with that. It is actually much easier, especially nowadays. This seems to have changed over the past few years, but it's actually much easier and really preferable to if you're going to if you're going to try to sell a domain name, to actually have a website on that domain name. So to go ahead and pop up a WordPress site. Well, if you're going to do that, you need some content. Yeah, I mean, you can see where I'm going here, right? If you do that, you're going to need some content. And instead of, hiring somebody to write a bunch of stuff, I mean, that takes forever, and that's a limited amount of content. Why not just upload, why not just install Tube Postr, find some relevant YouTube channels? I mean, my God, it's YouTube. They've got hundreds of millions of videos about any subject whatsoever, right? Find a few relevant YouTube channels and start importing all of that content. Notice with Tube Postr, you don't just get the video, you get the video and the description. And Larry, that's going to have a little bit to do with the answer to your question just a sec. So you don't just get the video, which is really impossible except in some limited things for YouTube to really crawl. I mean, they can kind of figure out what it is on I'm at Google. They can kind of figure out what it is on YouTube, but on your blog, you really do need text-based written content. So with Tube Postr, you can pull that into a blog, and then you will have relevant content. It will have enough text with enough keywords so that you can start getting some search engine traffic. And then when you go to actually sell the domain, you're actually selling a domain plus a nice looking website with content. And if you bought the developer's version of Tube Postr, which I think virtually everybody did except for one or two people, which was smart, then you can pass that license on to your buyer. Now they can't pass it on to somebody else, but you can pass it on to your buyer. So you can see how that would work, right? Other ways of using Tube Postr, well, using it like I do. I do a lot of videos that are, well, most of these have been busy as hell lately. Most of these are just, like walkthroughs, but some of these, for instance, are interviews. If you go back into last year just a little bit, I've got a lot of sequences of how-to videos, an amazing amount of content. And having that on YouTube is good, but having that on my website is even better because, again, it's a search engine thing. I mean, you get the text. Look, let's just do this. Let's just go down here and find one of these and open it up. Okay, so look, you get a title, you get a nice looking thumbnail, and you get the text, and you get some keywords, right? Even if you're like me, and if you're used to putting keywords in the description box of YouTube, so these keywords would have come from the actual description box. So you've got all this SEO stuff, right? You got it linked somewhere. The links come in, and the links are actually live and will actually function. That took a fair amount of programming. And also we've got tags. So you pull in all those tags. This is great SEO text too. So again, it's basically a way of not doing the same work twice, and it is a way of taking advantage, not unethically, by the way. This is not a scraper. This is all done through YouTube's API. This is completely kosher with YouTube. They are completely happy with what we've done. This isn't some like workaround or hack. I literally hate those things for two reasons. One, if enough people start doing that, then platforms figure that out and they'll just plug that hole and shut that down. So I don't like that. But also, I'm really conscious about building software that I sell. I mean, creating software for our own business that is created so that I don't have to think about what the software does ever again. It just sits there and does it, right? but also when I sell you guys software, I want software that you can actually build a business on. I'm pretty sure everybody on here that I'm not the only person on the planet who bought a cool looking piece of software and then 2 months later it broke and it quit working and it never got fixed. And you thought, yeah, man, that was a great idea. I wish to God the thing would work. So trying to avoid that, one huge way of trying to avoid that is working through platforms APIs. Okay, so an API, and most people on here know what an API is, but an API basically is a programmer interface where the platform like YouTube or some social media site says, hey, you can access these particular functionalities of the site. That is fine with us for you to do. So this is all done through YouTube's API. So what we're doing here, the pulling in of the videos, the pulling in of the text, this is all completely cool with YouTube, and it's totally ethical for you to pull in stuff from somebody else. I mean, here's a guy. I am not a minimalist. I was shocked to see. I just wanted to find another channel to show you guys besides my own channel, but I was shocked to see this guy has an amazing, check out the number of subscribers. They're close to 1 million subscribers. Who knew that not having stuff was such a big deal that this guy could get 1 million subscribers? But, if let's say I had, it's kind of a funny example, but let's say I had a website devoted to, I don't know, alternative lifestyles. Minimalism is not exactly an alternative lifestyle, but let's just go with that. Alternative lifestyles. There's a lot of things that people are doing, and I learn about this myself through YouTube. I'm a YouTube addict, but minimalism is like a big trend nowadays globally. Another big trend nowadays is retrofitting vans and letting that be your home. And so if you wanted to build a website that just had a ton of content on it about those kinds of things, and you could choose other things. I mean, you can find channels about people who totally live off the grid, i.e. they're not connected to power, they're not connected to gas, they're not connected to sewer and water and all that stuff. They may not even own the land they live on. Maybe they're on some, I don't know the legalities of this. I'm not commenting on that, but they're like out west, out in the desert or somewhere. I mean, you can see how you could pull in a ton of cool stuff into a blog with the text. That's one of the key features for SEO. Thank you, Larry. I was just sitting here thinking about tiny homes. Tiny homes is another, I don't know if alternative lifestyle is what to call this, but you guys understand where I'm going. I mean, these are housing lifestyle trends, okay? You could just pull all that in from several really good channels. I mean, this guy actually has a very good channel here. Otherwise, he wouldn't have close to 1 million subscribers. And you could immediately create a really nice blog about that. Pop some ads up, sell whatever you want to sell, whatever it is, and you do whatever you do with it, right? So the bulk import here is so that you can suck all that stuff in at one time, okay? But you don't want to, I mean, really what you want, and this is, Larry, I'm still going to get to your question, buddy, and I know you're not bugging me about it. I just want to let you know that I haven't forgotten about you. It is good search engine optimization for a website to be getting content on some schedule. It doesn't have to be at the same time on the same day every week, but to be dripping some content into the website. You don't want your websites to become dead for two reasons. One, the more, when the website is crawled and the more content that is there from the last crawl, the crawling frequency of the website by the various search engines is going to increase, right? Because the search engines need to keep up with the new content on the particular website. That's a huge reason why you don't just want to pull in a bunch of content and just have it sit there and not more content. Another huge reason is because none of this stuff is going to work to make money unless a human being actually looks at it. I mean, we can have SEO, we can have crawling, we can have various automata from now until cows come home. But the only time that anything generates money is when a human being does something. So again, you want your website to be fresh because ideally, let's just go with the alternative website, alternative living spaces website that I was just kind of talking about. Ideally, you want to develop over time some real people who just keep coming back to your website to see new cool stuff, right? Because they'll buy more stuff, okay? So you got that issue. I mean, there's tons of other stuff. Flipping websites, I haven't even talked about that. I used to be a big website flipper. I haven't flipped a website in a very long time. That's not because it's not a good thing to do. It's just because I'm one person running a small but growing business, and I tend to just focus on one or two little things. But flipping websites, very much like flipping domains, except you're not just flipping the name of the domain, you're flipping the actual website itself. Again, with Tube Postr, if you bought the developer's license, which virtually everybody did, you have the right to flip the website, i.e. list it on someplace like Flippa. You know, I mean, according to how old the website is, according to what traffic it's getting. I don't know if you just let it sit there. If you just let, let's say that you just wanted to develop some online real estate, which, by the way, is a seriously smart thing to do. And you bought a bunch of domains, you put up a bunch of WordPress sites, you use Tube Postr. By the way, if you run out of licenses, you got 99 licenses with the developer's version. If you run out, how would you know that you ran out? Well, the 100th one would not function, okay? So if you ran out, just hit me up. We'll sell you 99 more licenses, okay? But let's say that you developed a ton of online real estate. You got Tube Postr just sitting there sucking in all these YouTube channels with all that beautiful, keyword-based text on, let's say, 100 websites. That would be so easy to do. Buy 100 domains in various interesting things. I mean, the tiny homes, minimalism, living off the grid thing. Well, tiny homes would be a great. Well, there's a ton of great channels about tiny homes. I don't look at those, but I do love the channels about retrofitting vans. Why? I have no idea. I'm not retrofitting a van. I got 2 dogs and a wife, and 2 cats. So Lee's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's just kind of like inspires the romantic side of my brain, right? That would be a great example. The whole minimalism thing's a great example. The living off the grid thing's a great example. I mean, you can just think of you retrofit an ark. I mean, you can just think of a ton of things, right? Let's say you did that and you got 100 websites going and you let them just sit there for a year and you're just pulling in all this beautiful content. Tube Postr just sitting there doing all the work for you. Very easily pulling it into the home page. Notice this is where was that? This is going to end up being a little more elaborate website. In other words, we've got this this category here, which is a category page. You don't have to get that elaborate. You could just bring it. We're not on this site, but you could just bring it into the home page and just let it all just land here. It really doesn't matter. But let's say you did that for 100 websites. And then a year from now, so all you got to do is buy domains, take care of the hosting. I mean, you could get a HostGator reseller account if you wanted to, and you could easily put 100, you can put a lot more than 100, but you easily put 100 WordPress sites on that, all with their own separate cPanels, because this way you can just, flip the whole thing, right? But, or you can just, give them the cPanel and charge them monthly for using it. But how do I know you can put on 100? Because I used to do this, and I used to have way more than 100 on reseller accounts. But let's say you did that. Tube Postr is doing all the content work for you. Search engines are crawling it. You know, people are starting to come. You know, you can put in the, you know, the whole Google Analytics thing and figure out, just so you have some stats. And then next year or the next year, let's say you let that run for 1 or 2 years. The longer you let it run, the more valuable the website's going to be. You let that run for, let's say, just a year. And then a year from now, you start peeling those babies off. I'm actually convincing myself to do this again. I used to do stuff like this all the time. It was a beautiful way of making money. But you start peeling those websites off and you just go over to Flip and you list one every now and then. Those are going to sell for a few $1,000s, according to the niche, according to how much traffic it gets. But you don't have to get an ungodly amount of traffic for what I'm saying is you don't have to get an ungodly amount of traffic for it to sell for 4 figures, low 4 figures. So that is a beautiful way to use Tube Postr. That's or hell, just put a bunch of ads up there. Put a bunch of Amazon ads. Let people buy Amazon stuff, and then you get paid from that. I mean, yeah, the you know, percentage that you make from Amazon's pretty low because it's a physical product, right? But big deal. Or go to ClickBank where you've got digital products and the percentage that you're making is quite a bit higher, right? Like 50%. Put a bunch of ClickBank ads up there. These are a whole ton of ways of using this. Other ways of using this with, and I know I got a bunch of people in here who do offline stuff. Other ways of using this, set this up with your clients. You really, really should talk to your clients about the following. There is a definite connection with Google My Business and YouTube. All right. Let's look at this guy's channel. Look, you've got, I mean, even on this page, you've got a ton of places to put what we call the NAP, the name, address, you know, phone number, to create a citation for which has to do with the ranking of the Google My Business page. I mean, you can do it in here. You could like do it in the description of all of your videos. You could always have the NAP in there. So now you got the NAP in a ton of places. If you've ever used this guy hasn't posted anything yet. I'm just now starting to use this. Hang on, I'll show you what this is. This is really cool. It's basically a blogging feature that YouTube added to YouTube. Let's go to my channel. It's kind of funny. I mean, YouTube adding a text-based blogging feature, right? But you got this community thing. You know, sometimes when I upload videos, I'm still kind of learning how to use it, honestly. And actually, I'm going to develop some software to do all this stuff automated too. But you know, you can write stuff, you can link to videos, you can do polls and things. What a beautiful place to put the NAP. Richard, the NAP is the name, the address, and the phone number. Check this out, and just ignore the dogs, guys. We're really big about saving animals. Look, I don't live on a farm or anything. I live in a normal house. And since one of them's 4 years old, he's fairly he can maintain his he has fairly good behavior. The other one's not even a year old. His behavior is insane. But look at let's see this family dentistry at Stonecrest. Okay. The name, the address, and the phone number. Okay. Put those 3 things together. That's the NAP. Sometimes people call it the NAP plus W, you know, where you add the website, but the NAP is extremely important. The more that, well, they're obviously ranking at the top, so they don't need help. But let's suppose that Family Dentistry at Stonecrest was not ranking it. Well, that's an ad. Let's choose Atlanta Dental Center. I didn't even see the ad. That's why they're there, because they paid for it. But look at Atlanta Dental Center. The name, the address, the phone number. Probably they're there because that same combination, the name, the address, and the phone number appears with exactly the same spelling, the same spaces. Here in Atlanta, we have quadrants of the city: northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. So, and sometimes, if you're mailing somebody a letter, you could write northeast, you can write that out. You could write NE, you could write N.E. But I'm saying all of this stuff needs to be exactly the same. So you don't want N.E. for this guy because he did NE. You don't want N.E. You don't want NORTHEAST. You don't want that. You want NE capital together, no spaces, right? The more often these three things appear, and the let's say the more authority that the place, the website that it appears on, it's like a fancy backlink is what I'm trying to say. It's not a backlink because you can't click on something and come here, but it's like a fancy backlink. All right. Google keeps track of that, and Google is basically saying, hey, a lot of people are talking about this in a lot of places, right? And so that means this place is, let's say, more important than this place. All right. That's one of the big ways that Google decides to rank stuff. Not the only way, but one of the big ways. Now, Google owns YouTube, right? And a beautiful, beautiful place that you can just get a lot of authority from and really, really helps in your ranking of your Google My Business page is having the NAP wherever you can put it on the YouTube, like on your client's YouTube channel. Okay, so here, various places here, and the About. Okay, so click the About, there, click Community, there. There's a ton of places to put an app, right? So that is a really good thing to do. So that triangle, okay, those three things going together, the name, not those three things, those three things going together. I was reading Arthur's comment. Those three things going together, the Google My Business page, a business's YouTube page, and their website. All right. Tube Postr helps in streamlining that process. See what I'm saying? So that's just that's another way of using this. I mean, I can sit here and come up with extremely cool ways of using this all day long, and I'm happy to do that. But let me look at a few of the questions, because I had a few questions while I was sitting here talking, and I think it was Larry. Larry said, Lee, what do you think about using videos from another state for the purposes of ranking your site in your chosen services niche, bringing in traffic from your local area and using the site for lead generation? Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I mean, just again, you're bringing in the video, you're bringing in the text, it increases, you're dripping that in. It is increasing the frequency that the various search engines crawl your site. In terms, I don't really think it matters that it's from another state. Guys, another really, really, really cool way of doing this is to create satellite sites that point back to your site. You can really go whole hog. You're going to have some proxies. I mean, if you really want to get fancy about this, I mean, you could create an entire private blog, network. In other words, PBN, where you have a whole bunch of sites and you access those through proxies, and you don't leave a footprint and all that stuff. And in a random way, those sites are all linking back in various random no real pattern to them way to your main money site. That's a fabulous thing to do. So, yeah, Larry, I think you're fine with that. I mean, this is such an easy plugin to use, and it's so extremely valuable. It's kind of hard to screw it up. Let's see what else we got. Do you need a new API key for each site we build, or the same one for all? You will use the same one. No, well, let me see. The API key is, I wish I had my developer on here, who is my son, by the way. The API key is going to link the site up to the channel that's pulling from. Maybe, Wayne, I honestly don't know. I will make a note to ask Luke that. That is a fabulous question. I wish he was on. He had another place to be. He was going to be on, but he had another place to be. Wayne, well, something I don't know. I mean, I've gotten to the point, Wayne, where I get other people to do stuff for me because, which is good, but it means that every now and then somebody like you asks me a question that I don't know the answer to. I'll ask Luke. Hit me up in support if you want to, and repeat that question, and I'll make sure you get it answered. Let's see what else we got. Larry, that's a great idea. Renting sites. Yeah. I talked about flipping sites. Renting sites, like let's say you created a bunch of industry specific sites, different domain names. If you're doing this for local marketing, your domain name might have, for instance, a location in it. I did this with a ton of websites having to do with limo services one time, and it was a great thing to do. And I've done it with a ton of other stuff, bail bonds, lots of other stuff. But basically, what you would do, you would have a bunch of domain names with the business niche and the location name. So let's go with bail bonds. San Francisco bail bonds, that domain's probably taken, but let's say, just go with me here. San Francisco bail bonds, Atlanta bail bonds, Chicago bail bonds, New York bail bonds, Las Vegas bail bonds, okay? .com, all those are .com. You got a bunch of sites. You're pulling in a lot of related information. I mean, surely there have to be some bail bond channels, or maybe they're just some channels about criminal defense attorney stuff like that. I mean, there's got to be a ton of stuff with that, right? You can pull more than one channel into your site. So if you're not getting enough, content from one channel, just add another channel. Just keep adding channels until you're getting plenty of content, and then rent those. Yeah, absolutely. Have a banner that you at the top, where you can advertise the business that you're renting the site to. Their name, their phone number. Get somebody to create some content for you, so that like you might, in that case, Larry, you might want your homepage to be a static homepage that's really kind of a little gentle sales letter for the business, with all their information, and then do what we did, what we're doing here. Take Tube Postr and put that on a category page. For SEO purposes, it's exactly the same. It really doesn't matter that it's on a homepage or a category page. That is a fabulous idea. And rent that sucker. That is a great idea. Thomas, yeah, the replay will be up tomorrow. Yeah. Larry, hit me up in support. I don't really know. Well, yeah, I do actually. I actually do know this. Hang on. API key different for different sites with Tube Postr. I'll ask Luke that. And what I'll do is email you guys, because I got you tagged as a special group, like everybody, everybody else is tagged as various groups for what they're interested in. But yeah, I'll be happy to do that, Larry. Just made myself a note to do that. I'll shoot a note off to Luke in just a second, and we'll shoot you out an email. Now, Larry, I'm a remarkably busy guy, And I'm also old enough to where I forget things. I mean, it just is, right? So, Larry, if I forget, hit me up in support, okay? This is support, guys. Just hit me up. And in case I forget, I don't mind y'all asking me twice. Let's kind of wrap this up. Bulk import is exactly what it says. Bulk import YouTube tracker. This is the dripping feature, okay? Basically, you know, you hook it up to a channel, which you do here, connected channels. Tell you what, let's do this. I hope I'm not confusing you here. Let's just go here. To connect to a channel, all right, you're going to use the channel ID. So, you know, you create a channel here. I've got one channel that this is connected to, all right, which is my channel. But let's say I wanted Matt's channel connected to this too. So I'm sucking in all Matt's videos. Where was I? Here I am. Then we would say create channel. We would fill out all this stuff and we would go get the channel ID. Sometimes the channel username works and sometimes it doesn't. It just is what it is. I think sometimes YouTube just can't figure that out if there's like really a lot of similarity between several of them. But the channel ID will always work. So you can you set up your channels here that you're pulling in from. How do you find the channel ID? Well, let's look at Matt here and let's go to his home. And that didn't do what I thought it would. Hold on. Yeah, it won't do it the second time you go to the channel, but it will do it the first time because YouTube keeps track of whether you were just on the channel because actually Matt here could have different channel videos showing to you if you're visiting a second time to the channel. But the first time you visit a channel, if you will get this big, long, ugly string there, notice it says youtube.com channel / and big, long, ugly string. Take that. When you set up your new channel, you're going to put that big, long, ugly string in here, click that radio button, hit submit, and now you've got the channel connected to your site, okay? And again, you can connect more than one. John, if you have an issue with this training, please let me know. Now, because I'm trying to make sure that y'all know what to do, John. I thought that was fairly obvious, but anyway. Once you do that, and you want to, you could just take you could take some channels and just bulk import from them through the bulk importer. You could take some channels, you could let them be dripping into your site via here. So if I wanted more than one channel dripping, I would come here, I would create a new channel and put in, you know, it will, when you create the channel on the other tab, it's going to show up here. Now, only one shows up here because, as I just showed you, I've only got one channel connected to this particular instance of the software. But if you had several channels, then you would choose the one you want, and then you can have those dripping into the blog. I think that's about it, guys. I mean, I've walked you through the software. I tried to include a lot of what to do with this. Have I touched on everything that you could do with this? Hang on, Arthur. Great question. Have I touched on everything you could do with this? Not at all. But because this tool was designed to be so flexible that I mean, really, I mean, I can just sit here and just think of cool ideas that will make you money from now until the cows come home. Arthur had a great question. So if we sold a site with this tool on it, the tool would still work. Yes, sir, absolutely. as you got a developer's license, and you get 99 sites that you can put it on, those sites belonging to either you or someone that you sold it to, then it will work. But they can't sell it again. And we do have software running in the background of our business that checks out all of that. Does Google prefer bulk or drip? Great question, Richard. You need a lot of content on your site. It's kind of like both, right? You need a lot of content on your site, but you it's really important to drip content into the site. Now, if you're using the YouTube tracker feature, which I just told you about, that's what's dripping the content into the site. So what determines the frequency of when you get new content from a channel? It's whenever whoever owns that channel uploads a new video. So they upload a new video, then within a reasonable amount of time, it's not going to happen like within 5 seconds, but within, an hour or two, something like that, you will always see that it's like this, let me just show you this. I uploaded that video last night, and it would have appeared here very, very soon after that. So whenever the channels that you're connected to, whenever the owners of those channels are putting in new videos, then those videos will appear on your site. So that's another very interesting thing. You might want to be aware of that. I mean, if you're pulling in stuff from a dead channel, that's fine. You will have a lot of videos, but you won't get the dripping feature. You need to make sure that you're pulling in stuff from a channel that people are actually posting stuff on. I mean, it's fine to use what I call a dead channel, but how would you figure that out? Well, look at this guy, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 1 month ago, 6 days ago, 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago. Let's see if we can go see all his videos. Six days, 1 week, 2 weeks. So it looks like we're getting, that's 4 weeks. Looks like we're getting 2 or 3 per week, something like that. So from this guy, you're getting 2 or 3 per week on, so if you want, that's actually a pretty good rate. But if you wanted more than that, then, and let's say you had a website for which this made sense. If you wanted more than that, just hook it up to another channel. Okay. So you do want a lot of content. I would definitely start out with the bulk import, but you don't want to just stop there. You really want the dripping feature, because that's basically what you're doing. Let me just say it like this. Okay, so a website like CNN.com, Google is all over that thing all the time because there is constantly new content being posted on that site. And in order to index it so that when people are searching for stuff, Google is giving them the latest, right? They have to basically figure out what's on that site, probably in a 2 or 3 minute by 2 or 3 minute basis, right? And you kind of over time, it doesn't take that long, but you kind of over time train the search engines to come to your site more often. And if you know a lot about SEO, you can actually, read, you get in the cPanel and read, who came and all that stuff, and when they came, et cetera, et cetera. But you can see the frequency of the crawling actually increasing. So you want to be crawled more often, because that basically tells Google or any other search engine, Yahoo or Bing or whatever people use. It basically, that's one indicator that your site has more authority than other sites. I mean, that's not always going to be true, but in general, sites that people are posting content on are sites that have better content than sites where people aren't posting content on. Okay, I mean, in general, all other things being equal. So you do want the dripping feature. Arthur says, any particular criteria for the theme we use with this? No. I don't think I've found a theme yet that conflicts with this plugin. Optimize Press 2 conflicted with a couple of our plugins, but there's a workaround for it because the URL that the plugin was creating for this is another plugin doing something else. Optimize Press just has a conflict with that, but that was the only popular theme that I've ever found that conflicted with any of our stuff. I don't think we found one yet that conflicts with this. Doesn't mean it's not out there, but we do try really, really hard to code things so that, and this has to do with variable names and all kinds of coder type stuff, but we do try very hard to code things so that conflicts are minimized. So Arthur, let's just say in general, you're fine. It should work with sites with site builder plugins. It should just fine. I mean, literally all it is just posting stuff, right? I mean, you can do all this manually, Arthur. I mean, you can go to YouTube, you can get the embed code for the video, you can copy and paste the description and the tags and all that stuff. You can write it yourself. All this plugin is doing via the API is just doing that in an automated way. That's all it's doing. So it should work fine with site builder plugins. I'm not sure what kind of theme we have here. We do have this on some sites where we're using now that I think about it, where we're using Optimize Press 2 and it's working just fine, but I'm not sure what this theme is. So yeah. So cool beans, guys. Any other questions before I can let you go? Or before I feel like I've answered all of your questions. You know, the bottom line, guys, is you've got a very, very simple to use plugin that will get a lot of fabulous content into your website. And really, no, Wayne, you can't clone the plugin. What you can do is so Wayne, let's say you've got 2 sites you want to put this on. So you would put the plugin itself on both sites. If you bought a developer's license, which you probably did, then you can do this for up to 99 sites, and you would use the same license on both of those. But you're not cloning the plugin. So yeah, guys. I mean, this thing's simple. We work, you know, simple is hard and confusing is fairly easy. We work really hard to make things very, very simple. But this is an amazing piece of automated content software that used right, they're like, I don't know if they're millions. There's a ton of ways of making money with this and a ton of ways of using this on your website and on your client's website. So that said, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk with y'all very, very soon. This should be, we'll download this now and should be up in the members area by, let's say, tomorrow afternoon. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.